play the would you rather game football
this.
style.
All right. Would you rather keep both Debo and Jimmy or trade both Debo and Jimmy?
I love this question. It's a great question. I would rather keep them both. I'm so against trading Debo Samuel. And if you got to keep Jimmy Garoppolo one more year as a backup so you can get that third round comp pick, so be it. I am not trading Debo Samuel. He's too good. I wouldn't do it. I would keep them both.
I'm with you. There's no way I want to get rid of Debo. And if it means keeping Jimmy for whatever reason in this scenario, then I'm keeping Jimmy. I'm not happy about it, but it's got to be done to keep Debo on this roster.
To me, there are the three best wide receivers in the league: Cooper Kupp, Jamar Chase, Debo Samuel. Why would you not want to have one of those guys? Those three guys were in the conference championship last year. All three of them. That's how valuable they were. You can't tell me the Niners are in the conference championship because Jimmy. I don't know.
Tyreek Hill was there also. Talk about explosive.
Most explosive wide receivers made the. Is that a coincidence, or are those guys that valuable? I think they're that valuable.
Yeah, you might be onto something there. Okay, so would you rather bring back Jaquiski Tart or draft a safety within the first two picks of this draft?
I'd rather draft a safety. I like Jaquiski Tart. He's a hell of a player. But he's like the big version of Jimmy Ward. To me, Jimmy Ward and Jaquiski Tart, even though they've known each other since high school, they do not complement each other. They duplicate each other. They're the same safety, just one's a little bit bigger. Jimmy Ward is, you don't need, it's not bad having two versatile safeties who can do everything, but it's nice to have one versatile safety who can do everything and a ball hawk, someone who forces turnovers. Like Jimmy Ward is very, very valuable, but he doesn't generate turnovers. It'd be nice if his running back did. So you know what, Tart? And Talanoa is not the replacement. I would like to bring not a strong safety, a free safety, not a tackler. The Niners have so many good tacklers in the secondary. How about a ball hawk?
I agree with you. I agree with you. And I think that there are some ball hawks in this draft. And furthermore, I think the draft is going to fall in their favor to where some of the positions of need are going to be the deepest in that section of the draft that they're picking, that they may not even have to trade up to go get somebody. I think that somebody's going to fall in their lap and they could easily get a safety with one of those first two picks that can start right away. And that has to be a difference though, Grant, compared to last year. The guys they pick early this year have to contribute this year. They cannot contribute next year. They have to contribute this year.
Mandatory. I'm with you on that. Like last year, they got nothing from their draft class. You can't do that 2 years in a row.
Yeah, you cannot. You cannot.
I love this game.
All right.
It's a middle school game, but we're updating it.
I love it. Would you rather trade George Kittle or fire Parag? These are two of your favorite things. I want to see where your head's at here.
Man, that's a great question. I'm gonna say fire Parag, because Parag and the Niners have made it damn near impossible to trade Kittle at this point. They extended his contract. You'd have to trade him after June 1. There'd be a huge dead cap hit. I mean, it's his fault. I'm gonna say fire Parag. I think the Niners have outgrown him. I think he's a detriment at this point, not an asset. He's acting like it's 2003 and it's a drought. It's a there's like a
they hit the recession in 2008.
A recession. Yeah, he's acting like it's like 2003. George Bush is the president. We're in Iraq, and there's like a very little salary cap. Like, the times have changed, Parag. You haven't adapted. Fire Parag.
I'm with you, man. If I have a chance to fire Parag, we just blamed Parag and the 49ers for being in this Debo situation. Parag can go. There's other salary cap guys out there. There just is. Okay, last one. And I have to give you the figures here because this is important. So your options are to trade Debo or make him the highest paid non-quarterback in the league, which would equate to $81 million guaranteed 81 million guaranteed, which is more than TJ Watt just got at 80. Joey Bosa got at 78. And then I think Tyreek Hill is the sixth highest paid as a receiver, sixth highest non-quarterback guaranteed money at 52 million. So it'd be 30 million more than the second highest paid wide receiver as far as guaranteed money. What are you doing?
This is very interesting. I think the 49ers really could trade Deebo Samuel, unless he capitulates. And I'd love to see how many games they win without him. Now, if they get rid of Deebo and they get rid of Jimmy, it's all going to be Trey Lance's fault if they don't win. But like, really, I really think if they didn't have Deebo last year, they would have won 5 or 6 games.
Yes,
it would have been super bad. So let's do math, okay? That's a 10-win team last year. But without him, we're guessing they would have been a 6-win team. 4 wins attributed to one player, all right? So the salary cap was $182.5 million. Teams win on average of 8.5 games this season. That's just an average. So that means a win in the NFL is worth roughly $21 million. Last year, Deebo was worth 4 wins. That means that dude is worth about $86 million, honestly. So to me, I would pay him. And I understand he's had groin pulls, hamstring pulls. He may not have the longevity. He may not be super explosive when he's 30. Fine. Give him $80 million now. Front load the shit. Give him all of his guaranteed money in 2 years so that if things fall apart or if whatever, he can hit the market in 2 years. You can back out in 2 years. Do it now because Trey's cheap for the next 2 years. Jimmy's gone after this year. I would pay him. I think he's worth it. I think where the wide receiver market is trending, it probably should have done this, 20 years ago.
Well, I'll say this. The only thing I can compare it to that I think is pretty much a guarantee to be out there is what the Jets offered for Tyreek Hill. Like, would they offer that same thing for Deebo? And I think the answer is yes, which would have been pick 35, pick 38, and pick 69. So the option is make Deebo the highest paid non-quarterback at an astronomical number or get pick 35, 38, and 69. Yeah. That is the option. I got to be honest, I am big on keeping Deebo Samuel. But if that's the number, I'm trading Deebo Samuel for pick 35, 38, and 69. And I'm hoping I can get Christian Watson or a explosive wide receiver. I'm hoping I can get a starting safety and maybe a defensive end out of it and seeing what happens. I cannot. Again, it's not my money, right? But if I run the 49ers, I got to draw the line somewhere. And I cannot pay, because now if I pay you 82 million guaranteed, which is more than the defensive ends are getting, what do I got to pay Nick Bosa next offseason?
That's what I was going to ask you right now.
100 guaranteed?
So that's what I'm going to ask you right now. Like, you told me, what did Joey Bosa get guaranteed?
78. Okay, TJ Watt got 81 or 80.
What's Nick going to ask for?
Exactly.
So
100 plus.
It really comes down to, are the Niners prepared to pay both of them what they're worth? Or are they going to choose? And who would you choose? Because honestly, I'd choose Deebo. Look, a defensive end is great, but run defense, miss me with that. It's not valuable. His pass rush, that's great. 15 and a half sacks, a sack a game, that's great. But you know what? Deebo had 14 touchdowns. All right? I'll take those touchdowns over those sacks. Sacks are great. But Deebo's touchdowns are like straight up just him. Him against the world. He's at the Niners at the 25-yard line. Deebo's in the background. He's in the backfield. Oh, you just throw a little pitch, boom, touchdown. Are you kidding? Who else can do that? Like, there are especially on a team like the Niners who have one good offensive lineman, they decided that you don't need a good offensive line. You need a good left tackle. So they cashed out the best left tackle in the game, have 4 question marks, and they're like, okay, at least the rest, the pressure the quarterback sees, he can avoid. But they can't see, we got that. So fine. You're going to need a wide receiver like Deebo who can get the ball instantly and make something happen. Because without him, I like Brandon Ayuk. He's not that explosive. I mean, He was a kind of a disappointment as a punt returner. He really hasn't had any big plays in his career. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, there's an argument to be had. I'll hear the argument. It's tough, right? So then I guess then what? You got to trade Nick Bosa next offseason, right? Like that's the other option.
I would
So
trade Nick Bosa. Can you imagine what you would get for Nick Bosa?
oh,
Can you imagine?
yeah, that first of all, if you trade him now, that Jets 10th pick is definitely there. You're getting probably 10, 35, and 38.
The way I feel about Nick Bosa and Trent Williams, I feel like the Trent Williams contract was a mistake. I feel like the Nick Bosa's contract is going to be a mistake. They're both going to get paid about the same. Bosa's going to get paid more. It's not about having one good offensive lineman. It's not great offensive line. It's not about having one great defensive lineman. It's about having a good pass protecting unit. Can you really have that when you're spending all your money on one out of the five? Look what the Niners have on the offensive line. That's going to happen to the defensive line when you give all that money to Bosa and Armstead, and it's like, all right, well, now we got, 5th round picks and guys off the bargain bin free agency. That's all I'm saying. It seems like with Chris Kasarik, if you didn't put all your investments into one player and you spread it out, he'd take care of it. He'd be a great pass rush. He'd be fine. Do you really need to spend $50 million on 2 players in your defensive line when run defense doesn't matter anymore and Chris Kasarik can manufacture? I mean, that's the whole point about why people are starting to say that coverage is more important than pass rush. You can manufacture a pass rush. There's waves, there's platoons, there's backups, there's blitzes, stunts, all of it. You know what I'm saying? Like coverage, you can't cover. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Not much. You're going to lose.
You make a hell of a point, Grant. You really do. I don't know, man.
Change your mind either. I'm just trying to.
I'm not going to change my mind.
Yeah.
I think your point is very well taken. I love the way you laid it out. Because the way that I see it, I said you've got to reset the wide receiver market, right? I'm all about resetting that wide receiver market. But if you pay Debo that money, you're resetting the whole market for everybody.
It's true.
Which means you're hurting yourself so much in the long run. Like you're winning now by keeping Debo. I know that's a major win. But if you pay him that much, and now everybody thinks that defensive ends and left tackles and all them are more valuable, quarterbacks, all those. What does the market look like when Bosa comes up or the next time you get your hands on a great left tackle? What have you done to yourself?
That's true. All I feel is like, I could be wrong, but the way the game is evolving, all right, 20 years ago was more of a phone booth game, as they call it. And in a phone booth game where your offense is quarterback under center, straight drop back, 7-step drops, dude, your offense, the game is won in the trenches, no doubt, right? If you're running, 500 times a season, if your quarterback is taking 7-step drops, you better be, the game is won in the trenches. But once the game becomes shotgun 70% of the time or more, 3 wide receivers, the ball's out in 2 seconds, 80% of the time, is the game really won in the trenches anymore? Or is the game won with your quarterback, your weapons, and coverage? That's my question.
No, I mean that's the whole thing, right? Like you've got to change a philosophy, and so you're saying, hey, it's worth it because I'm not paying those guys anyway, so I'm straight. Like I'm not doing it, which is understandable.
Bad in the trenches, but do you have to be dominant in the trenches? Is it really even worth putting your resources into those units when the ball's out in 2 seconds? Now it's a screen. So now Nick Bosa, what is he doing? Running and chasing. Is that what you paid him for?
Right. No, that's which, and by the way, we saw that against Green Bay, right? How bad was Green Bay's offensive line going into that first matchup with the 49ers? And they got zero pressure on Aaron Rodgers. Why? Because he got the ball out quick.
And another thing, you want to shut down Nick Bosa, especially if he's making $30 million and there's no bookend on the other side, double him, chip him. We already saw their success with that. What do you do to shut down Deebo Samuel? I don't know.
I don't know if there's an answer for Deebo Samuel.
I don't know. I don't think people figured that out yet. Because even if you have a shutdown corner, now he's playing running back. And can the shutdown corner tackle him? Because sometimes he's not even going to be running a route. He's just running a screen pass.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's a lot harder to shut down that guy. I think we saw the same thing with Jamar Chase and Cooper Kupp. Anyway.
Yeah.
Are there any more? I like this game. Are there any more would you rathers?
I don't have any more tonight, but I think I'm gonna work on these. I like this.
I like that. Chris has a
it.
question. He says, wait, I came here for the Blues Brothers. Why are you talking about football? Hope the eyes are doing good, Jesse.
Thank you, man. A little bit black and blue. Hopefully by this time next week, they'll be good to go and I can take these dang things off for sure.
Trey Niner says, why trade or pay him now when you can let him play out his contract and franchise tag him to death?
Okay, so yes, that is an option you can take. But the 49ers don't do that. Like that's not the way they've ever played the game. So they would be changing the way that they've always played the game. They always take care of their players, even if that means trading them, right? When you look at Buckner, right? If I say, hey, they always take care of their players, you're going, well, they didn't take care of Buckner. Well, yeah, they did. They got rid of him. They didn't hold him hostage, and they allowed him to go make money elsewhere. So they always take care of their players. That would be going against the grain of what they've always done.
Sacramento Mike says, let's bet a bottle of San Matias tequila that we trade or release Jimmy and that we draft a lot of those positions. Our team, like the mob, we draft our own players. Don't let too many players like L. Hey, man, I already made some bets. I don't want to lose too many. So, no, Sacramento Mike, but I appreciate you putting yourself on the record.
I think they do release Jimmy. I just don't think that they release Jimmy before the draft or during the draft. I think they wait until that $25 million is fully there and he can pass a physical. That's my prediction.
Brian Yu says, is it only funny to me that we have a Jesus only hat on Cohn after dark? Hey man, that's part of the charm. It's part of the charm.
To be fair, I didn't drop the F-bombs.
Here's the thing. Jesus was Jewish. People forget. People forget.
That's right.
He was,
and I didn't drop the F-bombs, Brian. I can't control free will. Grant has free will.
That's true. And we don't know that if Jesus were alive today, that he wouldn't be dropping F-bombs and wearing shades and gold jackets. You don't know. We don't know. And here's the thing.
I think it's safe to say Jesus isn't dropping F-bombs.
Here's the thing about Jesus. And because I didn't know. I'm Jewish and I went to I went to Catholic school. I was surprised to learn that the 4 books of what were they called? The Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Mm-hmm. None of them met Jesus. None of them met Jesus. So there's some interpretation there. I'm just saying he's a little bit of a legend. It's possible he wore gold jacket.
There'd be some F-bombs in there.
Don't know.
Got it.
Don't know. Because if he was Jewish, he probably had a little bit of, he was probably, a little stylish. I'm just saying. All right. Thank you very much, everyone.
He definitely had gold chains.